Jake and Fulton on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. We promise you we will be better than the Royals. And that ain't hard to do, to be honest with you. We will get to some Royals baseball. Fulton is having a tough go of it, so let's be nice to Fulton Caster. I am Jake LeBon. We got a lot to discuss. Whereas I will be the optimistic one, I think, today. Whereas the Royals have beaten down young Fulton. We will talk plenty of Royals baseball. We will talk positives about the Royals baseball team. We'll get to some Chiefs news and notes. We'll talk with Matt Derrick. Dan Lucero will stop by. Little odds makers. And will the odds go up? For the very first question that I'm going to ask Fulton Caster. A lot to get to. Let us know your thoughts. Royals fans, I need you to be honest. Are you interested in the team? Are you interested in the team? Or is it more so, I'll just check it out whenever? Let us know your thoughts. 785-272-9429. So simple, so easy. You can check us out on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. You can get all of the videos, shows, recaps, all of that, including a lot of draft coverage coming up next week. A lot to get to. 272-9429, the text line. YouTube, Sports on 580. The Royals lost yesterday, and to quote the great Harry Doyle, they got one hit. One damn hit. And I don't know if anybody's listening. I really don't. I really don't. They got one hit. Matt Duffy got the hit. Jordan Lyles went 8 innings and was honestly pretty good. You go 8 innings and you give up 2 earned runs. That's not bad.
Yeah, only 2.
That's not bad.
No, it's not. Especially when, 2 of the runs were because he who shall not be named literally cannot play the game of baseball.
No, he's not good at the game of baseball right now.
You know how much it takes for him to screw up for me to call him out on the internet when I've been, rallying around, just ignore it, let it go.
I don't think you're not dying on the hill that he's good.
No, I'm tired of hearing the complaints. You know how bad it is when I have to go against my own rule?
Yeah.
That I join in on the complaining?
Yeah. Yeah, Hunter Dozier with 2 errors in the first inning that leads to 3 runs. And then a home run later made it 4-0. Jacob deGrom might have thrown a no-hitter, but he is as breakable as,
Jake,
he's just breakable.
So I have to imagine, because of our differences in us growing up, you probably don't watch a lot of SpongeBob when you were younger.
No,
yeah, because that came when you were. Well, that's because that came in when you were a lot older.
Yes,
that was a cartoon that came into existence like literally when I was born. So that's what I grew up on. There's a great bit in one of their episodes of a guy who says he has glass bones and paper skin, and every time he moves, his leg breaks. That's Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
And I mean that not trying to make fun of the man. It's a real bummer he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, he's injured,
but he literally cannot stay healthy.
Correct. He is the, Adalberto Mondesi of pitching.
Yeah, he can't.
So, it was a wrist injury this time. But never fear, because Mr. Dunning will come in, give up a hit, and then shut everybody down for another 4 innings. And the Royals had 1 hit. Now, I told you this yesterday, Fulton.
Mm-hmm.
I told you this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the date. There is a date that I am going to be looking at, and it is a very simple one. May 11th, and on May the 12th, I will have my answer for this Royals team. Because I do agree with small sample size. I do agree with they've played a very difficult schedule. In fact, they have played one of the most difficult schedules that you can play.
Mm-hmm.
May 11th, that is the date. If their schedule is much easier, I would be a lot more upset. But are you ready? The schedule does get easier. May 11th is in 22 games, okay? Right now, the Royals are 4-13. That is terrible. Awful. No good, really bad. Here are their next 22 games. 2 against Texas, in which they don't face Jacob deGrom. 3 against the Angels, who are not any good. 3 against the Diamondbacks, who are 9-7, but are beatable.
Incredibly beatable.
4 against the Twins, who I don't think are world beaters either.
And more importantly, when it comes to the Royals and the Twins, they've played 3 games, and the Royals had a chance to win 2 of those 3 games.
Yep.
Like, you can beat the Twins.
They play 3 against Baltimore.
Beatable team.
That ain't the Braves.
That's a beatable baseball team.
They play 3 against the A's.
A fake Ponzi scheme of a baseball team that I have a lot of thoughts that they can't sweep that series.
And then 4 against the White Sox.
A really, really bad team.
So they play, of their next 7 opponents, 5 of them, to me, are very beatable. The White Sox, the A's, Baltimore, Arizona, and the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
Texas, without deGrom, like tonight, they've got, honestly, one of their better pitchers pitching in Brad Stellar-Keller.
Yep.
Going up against Nathan Eovaldi.
The guy they shellacked last week.
Exactly.
They could win tonight.
So you've got 22 games.
Mm-hmm.
If they go almost anything less than 500, if they go 11-11, or if they go, to me, the worst is 10-12, then I know what their season is about. Their season is, I don't care. The Royals are 4-13. If they go 10-12, they are going to be 14-25. That's 11 games under 500.
Mm-hmm.
And it also includes, when you add up 14 and 26, Fulton, what do you get?
That's 40, Jake. That's that magical number.
If they can't go 500 against these teams, then Fulton, are you ready? You will not hear me complain about wins and losses, because the season will be over.
Mm-hmm.
It will be done. And congratulations on May the 12th. If they cannot go 11-11 against these teams, the
Mm-hmm.
White Sox, the A's, Baltimore, Arizona, and the Angels, and we don't even know, I haven't looked into it, but I'm going to real quick, they might not even get to face Shohei Ohtani.
I believe they are set to. I believe the way it works out, they will have to do with a Shohei start. I'm not confident, but I believe they'll be set with a Shohei start.
He is set to pitch
but even
Sunday.
Then, guess what, Royals? Those 2 games you don't face Shohei, you can beat this team.
Yeah, some guy named Detmers.
Reed Detmers, hit or miss this year. He was the guy who threw the no-hitter last year. Hit and miss outside of that.
And that's my point. Like,
you can beat them.
I'm giving them, because they played a very difficult schedule. They've had to face the Rangers twice, and you had to face deGrom 2 of the 6 games. That is difficult. You've had to face the Twins, and you got their ace already. When it comes to this, you've had to face the Braves. You've had to face the Blue Jays. You've had a difficult schedule, okay? I get it. The Royals right now suck. They are the second worst. They're the worst team. We talked about this yesterday. The A's don't count because they're not even a real a ball club. They're like a fake team. They're like an independent team. The Savannah Bananas are a more real baseball team than the Oakland Athletics. But I will give them 22 games. Which I will care about the Royals. I will care about the Royals for the next 22 games, because they have got a schedule that is doable. That they really do. And if you can't even go 500 against this 7 teams, then you lost me. You lost me. If they do go 500 against these 7 teams, or you know what, maybe they played well, right? No Jacob deGrom, so you take on these 2 games against Texas. Maybe they find a way to play above 500. Then I'll be invested still. But if you're sitting at 14-26, if you go 10-12, or excuse me, 14 and 25, beg your pardon, 14 and 25. If you are 14 and 25 after 40 games, well, then I don't give a crap if you win or lose, does not matter. We are full bore into the, I just want to see the guys who are going to be part of the future play better. That's where by May 11th, and honestly, I'm okay with it before then because I've been told that the Royals are trying to win. Anybody who's not part of the future should not be on the 40-man roster. Either you cut them or they basically play because, one, we don't have anybody in the minors who needs to get at bats, and we'll just play them once every game. Like I would rather have, Michael Garcia get every day at bats in the minors than bat him once or twice every week.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep Hunter Dozier, because we ain't got nobody else down there, we would rather have, Garcia get at bats until the line that is drawn for Hunter Dozier, and they just eat the money. See, to me, they have options. See, what I would do is I would punt him right now and say, thanks for the time. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. And then bring up Michael Garcia and then play Duffy and Garcia and then ham and egg them puppies back and forth and figure out who's going to be your third baseman. Throw in Nicky Lopez, but Michael Massey can't hit anything, so put him at second. You got some maneuverability there. But once May 11th hits, that's the date that I'm giving them, that I will be cheering for them and doing well. And if not, on May 12th, you know who they play after these 22 games? Well, they got 6 games against the Brewers and then 6 games against the Brewers. That would be difficult. 3 games against the Brewers and then the Padres for 3, which they're going to get smoked. And if they go 1-5 in that situation, I'll be happy, especially if you have to face, the Burns and the good Brewer pitchers. And then they have no chance against San Diego probably. So at that point in time, on May the 12th, which will be a Friday, if the Royals lose 5-4, but Vinny hits a home run and Bobby Witt goes 2 for 3 and so-and-so does well and Keller pitches good, but the bullpen sucks. No, that's a win. That's a win because I don't care about wins and losses anymore come May 12th. If they can at least show me that they can beat bad teams. If you can't even beat bad teams, then you've lost me. You've completely lost me. So I'm giving them till May 11th because this is a beatable stretch. Let's go team. Let's go team.
I'm 100% with you because, I've been big on it's how you get to the win total at the end of the year than the raw amount of the wins. But no, they start off with a hard schedule. But if they are anywhere near where they want to be and the idea that they could contend in a year or two, then this presently constructed team has to be able to beat the bad ones. And the Angels, sans Shohei Ohtani, beatable. That's truly what they are. There's a reason they're 7-8. Arizona's 9-7 right now, and I don't know how. They can't walk. They swing at everything, and they've stumbled their way to 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
You can take 2. You can split a 4-game series with Minnesota. You can do that. It's possible. Baltimore is hit or miss with the way they are. I know it's hard to ask for sweeps. You really shouldn't always ask for those because even the worst teams in the world can steal a game from you. If they don't sweep Oakland, I might be legitimately upset because you should not lose the game to the Oakland A's.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been proven right that the White Sox are a fake team this year, that they're incredibly bad. You should be able to split that series. No, if you cannot get 11 wins in that 22-game stretch, I got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it truly does come down to then some other little factors, but it stinks that they have to be this way, that they are this. They don't have to be, that just are this way at this juncture for so many years in a row. But beyond our kind of newly imposed misses anymore, May 1st is going to tell me a lot. in
You're even going earlier
well,
than that?
it's going to tell me a lot in roster construction. Because if by the end of the first month, certain guys are not moved around if they are continuing to struggle, a month for me, if a guy's struggling for an entire month, that's when I think it becomes plausible to make moves. If Michael Massey still cannot seem to figure out what a strike is on May 1st, I love Michael. I think he can be a good second baseman long term. Put him in AAA. He needs a hard reset. Nate Eaton, I've said this many times, I love Nate. Nate needs to be in AAA right now. He is lost at the plate. He doesn't know what he's doing. Plus, I was wrong. He had 2 strikes and 3 at-bats last night. I know.
What was that again?
He had 2 strikes and 3 at-bats last night. I was wrong. I know. Like
that was the easiest bet.
But like those 2 guys are guys that I think actually can be somewhat helpful, but they're so lost right now. They need the trip down to AAA just to reset, of just take some pressure off, take a breather, refine yourself. Because both those guys can be legitimately helpful individuals. They're not lost causes, but they need a reset.
Mm-hmm.
And then May 1st is my deadline for Hunter Dozier. If he is still this way on May 1st, then I'm not yelling at Q. I'm yelling at JJ. Why is he on this team?
Even add one more.
Well, and John
Sherman, too.
Yeah, because my anger will be directed entirely at the front office if he's on this team on May 1st. If he's this way.
Front office and ownership.
Yeah. Which I kind of lump John with
gotcha.
front office.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I don't blame Q is just doing what he's being told to do to an extent. But if May 1st comes and JJ and John can't go, all right, this dude can't do literally anything, and Nick Lofton and Michael Garcia keep doing what they like. My point is this: when it comes to young guys, you have Caden Wallace down at high A right now. He's multiple years away, but he'll probably be your third baseman in the future. You need to know what you at least have in Nick Lofton right now. Because you're getting to a split to where you need to decide, is he going to be something, or can we not worry about protecting him? He's played third base all this year. He has done nothing but play third in AAA this year. Come May 1st, if Dozier's still what he's going to be, because he's awful and horrid, Nick Lofton should be playing for third base. I'm preaching to the choir here.
You're May 1st. I would have done that start of this year.
I know, but I'm willing to give JJ and John their point of like they wanted to give it a month, and if that was the plan, I you know what, I can live with an idea of just we're sticking to a plan. If the plan was bad, we're sticking to a plan. But May 1st is where I start going, all right, you've had a month. There's no plan that goes beyond a month with someone this bad.
We got lots to get to. Hit us up on our text line. 785-272-9429. Let us know your thoughts on this Royals baseball team. Coming up, though, how many times do we say that professional athletes live in a different world than we do? We can't even fathom the decisions that they make. We'll get to that next. 437 that professional athletes live in a different world than we do. The Major League Baseball on national broadcast, like FS1 and ESPN, they do in-game interviews now, which is kind of cool.
Which are awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Really cool. Well, according to Andrew Marchand, Sports Business Journal, they received $10,000 to do in-game interviews. $10,000 for a maximum 5 minutes of talking? Maximum 5 minutes?
Well, it depends on which ones we're talking about here. Sunday Night Baseball's done a new thing to where they wear the mic for 9 innings. And multiple times throughout the entire 9-inning game, they get insight on stuff. It depends, but pretty much some of them it's that short. Like on the Astros.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about at one time.
Yeah, no, at one time. Yeah,
at one time. It's the 6th inning. Let's go down to Vinny Pasquantino. Hey, Vinny P, how are things going right now? It's going pretty good. We can't hit, but we're just trying to do our best. We're doing great. They get $10,000 for that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of stuff. The list is shorter of things I wouldn't do than would do for $10,000. Like $10,000. They're just talking, and they're going to get $10,000.
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy didn't play this last week at the RBC Heritage. It cost him $3 million. Rory McIlroy said, "Yeah, I'm tired.
I'm just not feeling it.
I'm just not going to play this.
Well, Rory, we're going to find you $3 million.
Okay.
Here's a check.
Okay. No biggie. Whatever."
They live truly different lives than we do.
We live a totally different life.
We do.
We cannot fathom what they go through. Coming up next, Matt Derrick talks all things Chiefs. Kansas City to talk with our Chiefs insider. He is Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Matt, how are you doing on this Tuesday?
Not too bad, Jake. I mean, hanging in there, all things considered, and we got drafts coming up, so there's not a lot to dislike right now. Am I right?
I mean, I dislike the Royals. That's really about it. I dislike them very much so, but no, things
by 82 and 80 is not really looking too good right now, is it?
No, it's not. But they weren't going to be good anyways. It's just hope springs eternal, and then all of a sudden hope gets crushed, and so that's where we're at right now when it comes to the Royals. But we got OTAs to talk about. We've got phase 1 to talk about as Andy Reid met with the media yesterday. We played Andy Reid's press conference yesterday. All right. What did you take away from that press conference?
I think there was a few things. I mean, I don't know if there was anything really earth-shattering. I think that the biggest thing that popped out to me was maybe a little bit about Patrick Mahomes talking about his ankle. And I kind of thought, with a little bit of rest, that he'd feel like closer to 100% right now. And the fact that he still feels like he's working through it, I think, tells you a lot about what he was playing through at the end of the season on that thing. I still don't have a lot of concerns. I mean, I think by the time they're ready to go, he'll be ready. But I mean, I think generally you've heard from a team that, hey, they've enjoyed their run, they've celebrated their Super Bowl, and now it sounds like they're ready to get back to work.
Patrick Mahomes hosting phase 1 again. I feel like this is going to be the new normal for the Chiefs.
Yeah, it looked like he laughed a little bit when I asked him if what do they call this? Is it Camp Mahomes? What are they doing down there? How's it all working? You're right. I mean, it sounds like it's certainly going to be the pattern going forward, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Andy Reid talked about the fact that with all these seasons back to back, and you get deep runs, guys need more rest, and and Mahomes said even with the receivers, the pass catchers getting together down in Texas, it's still not as intense as maybe they would be doing up in Kansas City at this time of year, and it's different work. I mean, if they're in Kansas City. At the facility during phase 1, they can't do football work. I mean, they're just doing drills, they're doing one-on-one stuff, they're doing, rehab, physical therapy, that kind of thing, calisthenics. If they want, because of the rules, if they want to go out and catch passes and run routes, they're going to end up like at a high school football field. Down in Texas, they've got good facilities, they got good weather. It sounds like now Mahomes has figured out, hey, let's rent a house for all the players, and I would expect it's going to get more and more organized every year, especially because Mahomes says it's a lot more organized this year than it was last year. I think you're right. I mean, to me, I think the Chiefs are pretty set in stone. This is how they're going to do phase 1 going forward. I mean, it's just a matter of time. When does the rest of the league catch up?
We're talking with Matt Derrick. He is our Chiefs insider here on Mic'd Up. Okay, when you look at some of the breakdowns of what Mahomes and Reid said, he kind of tempered expectations a little bit for Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore. Said Toney, still a young guy. Sky Moore still a young guy. Is that probably by design, or is he just trying to caution people when it comes to these young wide receivers?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think it's definitely by design, but I think it is to just tamp down expectations a little bit. I think Andy is definitely, seeing that, hey, there's a lot of, people are putting a lot of hopes on Kadarius Toney, especially. And I think obviously there's a lot of expectations that Sky Moore is going to take a step forward. And I think both those things are true. I mean, I think that Kadarius Toney is going to have a good year if he's healthy. And I think Sky Moore will have a much better year 2. But I think he wants to avoid putting a lot of expectations on those guys and a lot of pressure because, Toney certainly seemed like he could handle it, although, I think it's certainly things got to him a little bit in New York. So that's probably one reason why the Chiefs want to, handle him a little bit differently and give him space and room to breathe. And, and as well as I thought Sky Moore handled his rookie season last year, I mean, I think he's still a young guy. You can see how the negative and even maybe the overhype can maybe get into him and work on his head a little bit. So I think that's that's reasonable expectations, I think, is what Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is trying to put on both those guys.
The Justin Ross hype train continues. A part of me says that I don't think the Chiefs really believe in Justin Ross if you sign Justin Watson and you sign Richie James. I think if they thought Justin Ross could be that guy, I don't think they would have signed one of those two guys.
Yeah, it's a reasonable case to make, and let's face it. I mean, there's no reason for the Chiefs to believe in Justin Ross at this point. I mean, at this juncture, he is clearly just a block of clay. I mean, and the Chiefs are going into the season like in another position with Lucas Niang. With Brett Beach saying, we really don't know what he is right now because he hasn't played in a while. He's coming off the injury. But they have less information about Justin Ross. So they've got reasons to believe that, hey, Justin Ross there's a lot of athleticism, there's a lot to like, but never taken a snap in a OTA. I mean, he got through, mini camp and he may have actually taken a few snaps in OTAs, but he was not 100% last year. They were really trying to protect him before they ended up shutting him down for the year. I mean, they really don't know. There's an absolute wide X factor on Justin Ross. He could be something big, he could not. But I mean, the talk that you're kind of hearing from everybody right now, it reminds me a lot of what the Chiefs were talking about this time of year last year about Justin Watson, and just hey, he's really impressed and surprised. Maybe it's just simply low expectations that everybody's having, and he's healthy now, so he's looking good. But what does that mean he's going to be? I mean, it doesn't mean that Justin Ross is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. It just means he's got potential.
Alrighty, let's get to some of the draft. The draft starts a week from tomorrow. Number one position that you think the Chiefs will attack is what?
If I had to pin it down to one, I think the most likely spot would end up being. I keep going back and forth. I'm going to stick with tackle. I mean, I think receiver is absolutely a great option, but I think that looking at the pockets of the draft and where the Chiefs are drafting, they're going to get a receiver that's a first-round grade. I think they almost have to move up, and they may have to move up too far. For tackle, I think there's a lot wider options, especially if you consider yourself as to say, hey, we're okay drafting a right tackle. You can get a plug-and-play right tackle late in the first round. So I think that's the most likely outcome. I mean, there's different directions, and they do have the ability to go best available player, but right now I'd say the plurality, I'll go tackle.
Alrighty, we're going to have a fun little mock draft right now here live on this interview. So are you ready for that, Matt?
I will try to keep up. Let's go.
Alrighty, so I just put it in there. We'll do 3 rounds real quick, no trades. Right now, you are on the clock. Matt Derrick as the GM of the Kansas City Chiefs. According to this, the best player available is Will Levis. He's fallen. I don't think you're taking Will Levis at pick 31. Available players according to ranking: Brian Branch, safety, Alabama; Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, Tennessee; Darnell Washington, tight end, Georgia; Cam Smith, Keely Ringo, Mazzie Smith, Drew Sanders, Hendon Hooker, DeJuan Jones, Felix Uzama. Who are you taking with the 31st pick with those players available?
Oh man, then you have to throw FAU in there, man, because I was all ready to take Darnell Wright, but I really do like me some Felix. But tackle is indeed, and I said that's the way to go. So let's take Darnell Wright.
Taking Darnell Wright with the 30. If Darnell Wright is there at the 31st pick, Matt, I'm not just running up there. I'd yell up there. Don't worry about the card. Text Roger Goodell, whoever. If they get Darnell Wright at pick 31, I am 1,000% going after Darnell Wright. Because I'm with you. I think at offensive tackle, I like Niang, but I liken it to what occurred 2 years ago. You had Blythe. You had guys at right guard, but you found other players in the draft. And if you think an offensive tackle for 5 years is there at pick 31, of course you take him over Lucas Niang, and then you've got some depth. So we got Darnell Wright. I like that pick. All right, pick 63. You can take Keon White, edge out of Georgia Tech. Derek Hall, edge out of Auburn. DJ Turner, corner, Michigan. Julius Brents, corner, Kansas State. Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee, wide receiver. Tucker Kraft, tight end out of South Dakota State. Jordan Battle, and a whole bunch of other guys. Who are you taking?
Well, I'm going to have to stick with one of my draft crushes. Not my primary draft crush yet. I'm still working on who that's going to be. But Derek Hall has been somebody who's really impressed me. And I think he absolutely fits with what the Chiefs want to do. They need, reinforcements, defensive line. Hall's got flexibility. I mean, I think he can do some different things for them. So give me Derek Hall.
Derek Hall, pick number 63. They addressed O-line and edge in this mock draft for the very first one. All right, last pick in the third round, pick number 95. Right now, the best players available are Tucker Kraft, tight end out of South Dakota State, safety Jordan Battle, Alabama, Rashee Rice, wide receiver, SMU, Marvin Mims, wide receiver, Oklahoma, Sidney Brown, safety, Illinois, Nathaniel Dell, wide receiver, Garrett Williams, and a whole lot of others that are still available. Those are the highest ones, at least on this mock draft. Who do you got?
You know what? I think I'm going to go another area of need, and then the name that stands out to me the most, and somebody that I think the Chiefs are interested in, I'm going to go with Rashee Rice. A little concerned, but I think right there, that's a really good value. I think that's a good spot to get in.
Well, according to this draft, it is an A+ every single pick. So maybe you should be the GM for the Chiefs. If they got Darnell Wright, Derek Hall, and Rashee Rice in picks 1, 2, and 3, I think you would be ecstatic in this draft.
Yeah, no, I mean that you're talking about hitting every position of need. I think you're getting a guy at the top of each of some pretty deep pockets of the draft right there. Yeah, if Brett Veach, those are to be the 3 picks that he made, was able to get, I would call that a win too. I'd give that an A+ as well.
With the amount of draft capital that they have, do you think it's more likely that they trade up or trade back from pick 31?
I still think it's more likely to trade up. I mean, even though we don't really know how much Brett Veach and Clark could have been joking about keeping the thing in the first round, I think they still want to. And with 10 picks, there's just much ability to move up. Question is just going to be, is there somebody that they really want? And I think that even trading back, even if they wanted to, might be fairly difficult, because unless something like you just identified, Will Levis is sitting there at 31, and a team wanted to get a 5th-year option on a quarterback. That's the only thing you could do at that spot. Otherwise, I think it's going to be really tough to try and move back, because I'm just not sure teams are going to see the value.
We're talking with Matt Derrick. He is our Chiefs insider, ChiefsDigest.com. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. All right, Matt, I want to get into this as well. Did Andy Reid drop some info that maybe he shouldn't have yesterday?
I know where you're going, and I love this.
I find normally Andy Reid doesn't give you squat, but he was defending his team because the NFLPA and the players put out that report, and it hammered Rick Burkholder, and he defended his guy Rick Burkholder and basically said, "Look, we are tough in the training room. All right, that ain't Leisure World," is what he said, which I didn't know that was a thing, but he called it Leisure World. And I get that. You don't want to be in the training room, and so they treat you so that you get out on the field. Understandable. Then he kind of just on his own accord basically said, yeah, facility wise, why would we invest in something when we might be, moving or going someplace else or building a new facility? What do you take from that?
My ears perked up as well. I thought that was very fascinating, and maybe a rare moment of clarity and forwardness from Andy. I thought it was interesting. I mean, I think it's acknowledging some reality, and that I'm sure that is probably a thought process that's going on there. What do you put it? Because there's absolutely no doubt. I mean, that current facility, the Chiefs have outgrown it. And they do share some space. They've got the KU Med Center has an athletic facility over there. Hey, at some point, if you're able to reclaim that space, maybe they could. But I mean, they don't have enough room for their own staff in that building right now. And on top of that, yeah, it's crowded for the players, and And even though NFL facilities aren't as nice as college facilities these days, they're still behind. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, the Chiefs have what players would probably say is one of the lower ranked facilities in the league because it hasn't been updated in almost 15 years now. So I think there's some reality there that, something's going to happen with that place. And I think Andy's acknowledging, hey, it's probably not going to be 10 years. I mean, it's when the lease is up at Arrowhead. Maybe it won't be that long, but even if it is, I mean, his point is valid. I mean, are you going to put a ton of money into a building that you may only be in for 10 more years? Or, or do you want to do something bigger as far as your remodeling goes? If you're going to stay at Arrowhead and not move somewhere else. So, yeah, I think that was just, maybe some inside talk getting outside. Andy's did this a little bit this offseason. I mean, he used to never talk about coaching changes or anything like that at the combine, yet, he talked about David Girardi this year. Maybe the second Super Bowl is loosening his lips a little bit, So if that's the case, I'm all for this because, who knows what this could lead to this year.
Is the practice facility that area tied to the Truman Sports Complex, or they can move from the practice facility anytime they want?
That's a great question. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that through the lease, I mean, they are responsible for at least maintaining the building and payments. And I don't think that the lease payments are that big for it. But they are connected through the lease to the facility. Could they have another facility or open something else up? Yeah. I mean, they could, in theory. I mean, there's nothing stopping them. They would just have to maintain their commitments to Jackson County under the lease agreement. But so that opens up some possibilities as well. And there's a lot of teams. A lot of teams around the league have their training facilities nowhere near their stadium. So that wouldn't be out of course for the Chiefs if that was a consideration that they had to.
And that's where I'm getting at. Like if Mark Donovan and Clark Hunt and Andy Reid are all, hey, we're going to do something in the future. The practice facility is not tied to, Arrowhead Stadium. And if they're smart, now maybe I'm underestimating, the fan base, but I would think that they're not going to get taxpayer money for the practice facility, for their building. Now they will for the stadium. And in all honesty, because I think Kansas Cityans, whether they are in Jackson County, Clay County, Wyandotte County, Johnson County, Shawnee County here, Douglas County, wherever, Leavenworth County, they would pay for the whole entire thing. They would pay for the whole entire thing. They'll be like, what, you want to move here to Wyandotte County just outside Legends? Yeah, you want $3 billion? We'll give it to you. I think they would. And so a part of me is like, if wherever you want to build your practice facility, I feel like you could do that anytime you want right now.
Yeah, you can. And I mean, great examples here in Kansas City. I mean, with our soccer team, Sporting is just opening up a new training facility that's obviously not near their stadium. In Clay County, it's a completely different county. The women's team doing the same thing. I mean, it just opened up a training facility over in, I think it's technically in Platte. It's really close to Wyandotte County too, but and that's obviously not going to be. It's relatively close to their stadium, but not in the same area. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of options there, and there might be some entanglements because I know that the state of Missouri did put some money into the revamping that facility back in 2007, 2008. So there might be some tricks in everything, but you're right. I mean, there's absolutely nothing that ties going forward. And if that was a way for the Chiefs to figure out a way to maybe get some money out of multiple locations and municipalities and got a stadium in one state and you're training in another, that's an option that a lot of other teams around the league don't have as far as, being able to maybe create a competitive bidding process.
And that's the other thing too, is they can't do anything with Arrowhead till 2020, after 2020. Well, technically the 2025 season, because the World Cup's going to be there in 2026. You can't do anything to the facility at that point in time. The Royals are not going to be gone at that point in time. So I'm wondering, if we're talking about, we're not going to invest any money into a facility right now. I mean, when are you going to do it? The earliest I think the Chiefs can do something, at least stadium wise, is like 2028 potentially, or 27, when, let's say, the Royals do move downtown, and then you got Kauffman there. What do? The thought is, you bulldoze Kauffman, and then you put the new stadium there, and then you bulldoze Arrowhead, and you put the training facility there. I mean, we're talking that ain't going to happen until like 2031. I mean, that's 8 years from now. Are you still going to have that crappy practice facility 8 years from now?
That would be the tough thing. I mean, gutting it out there for 8 more years, and they shouldn't have to. I mean, obviously there'll be a decision on where the stadium will go. I mean, I would think that's got to be done at least 4 or 5 years before the end of the lease, and that would be fit with when the Royals are out of there and they're no longer a consideration. I think there's even impetus in the organization that they might want to have something decided in the next 24 months about what they're going to do. So yeah, I mean, and this might be a consideration as well. But remember, the Chiefs are going to be putting a ton of money into Arrowhead for the World Cup. They've got to refit that stadium, so they're going to be doing 2 off-season projects for Arrowhead to rebuild the lower bowl to make it accommodating, for international soccer. So yeah, I mean, it's not like they're not going to be putting any money into their facilities. They're just going to be going into it for a different purpose.
All righty, last two for the road. Got to do these rapid fire. Dream pick at pick number 31 is what?
I think what guy we got today. I think Darnell Wright's a pretty good one. I don't know if a receiver's going to fall there, but I would take him in a heartbeat.
All righty, worst cookie. What's the worst cookie?
Anything with oatmeal.
Anything with oatmeal. Anything.
And
with
I say that because quick oats in a no-bake cookie that I make is fantastic, but oatmeal cookies in an oven are an abomination. Also raisins.
Matt, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, Jake. Take care.
Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. Right, that was Jake and Fulton, hour number 2. Thank you so much for joining us. Royals baseball tonight. Royals taking on the Texas Rangers. And fun fact, the last time that the Royals won, they faced the pitcher that they're pitching going up against tonight, Nathan Eovaldi. Brad Keller versus Nathan Eovaldi tonight, 6 o'clock pregame coverage, 6:40 first pitch right here on your home for Royals baseball. They're trying to play baseball. Not very good at it. They're trying. The game almost got over in 2 hours yesterday.
Isn't it great?
2 hours.
Isn't it awesome?
It is awesome because, hey,
the suffering is shorter.
Exactly. Put me out of my misery. And if Bruce,
just right between the eyes, please.
If Bruce Bochy wouldn't have changed pitchers at the end,
yeah, if you didn't take out Dr. Dean Dunning for Jose Leclerc, yeah,
I think it gets done in under 2 hours.
Yeah, probably.
Has there been a game get done in under 2 hours
yes.
this year? There has.
Sandy Alcantara threw a complete game against the Minnesota Twins in 1 hour and 57 minutes.
Shut up. For the Marlins.
Mm-hmm. He threw a complete, I believe it was a complete game shutout. I'm proud of you that you also knew that. I am proud of you. Yeah, he threw a complete game. I think it was a complete game shutout, but I was a complete game. He threw a complete game in 157.
How quick would Maddox have gotten a game done in these rules? Would the
you tell Greg Maddox there's a pitch clock?
I bet you he didn't even need the pitch clock.
No, I haven't gone back and looked at it. I bet Greg Maddox probably worked under the pitch clock numbers. That's fast. I might actually look at that. I might look at that today. And see if I could figure that out. Because they're not gonna have like the data on it. I'd have to do some hard digging.
You'd actually have like
I'd have to like go back, watch old Maddox films and time it.
Not just film, you'd have to watch like entire games.
Yeah.
So you'd have to watch like an inning to see how many, because
it's a lot of work. It's doable, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, but is it really? Because they only pitched like 10 pitches an inning.
I know. That's the part where it's not a lot of work. No, I bet Greg Maddox could have had like a 1 hour and 45 minute game. Especially if he's like is pitching a Maddox at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we call that a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Now I'm interested in that. I really, really am.
Because I mean, Mark Burley would have had a field day with these rules.
I don't think so. I think Mark Burley would just be Mark Burley.
Well, I know, but like you got everyone else going at Mark Burley's pace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mark Burley had to get to a 9:30 dinner resi.
Apparently, he had a 9:30 dinner reservation every night. It was great. Loved Mark Burley. I loved Mark Burley.
Game went 2 hours.
I hated he had to pitch for the White Sox.
2 hours and 3 minutes last night, I believe.
I believe it was officially 2 hours and 3 minutes.
That's hysterical. But
it's awesome.
The Royals are in action tonight.
You just put me out of my pain so much faster. I get to other parts of my evening to try and become happier so much faster.
Yeah. And the game was done by 8:40.
Yeah.
You can catch a 9 o'clock show on, ABC.
Yeah, if you had a show that premiered, that new episode was at 9 o'clock, you got to watch an entire Royals game to kill that time. I'm sorry if you did, but
we got that going for us. We're going to get to everyone loves the list. Worst cookies. We got into a debate here at the office about cookies. We've done best cookies.
We have.
We've never done worst cookies. So we're
ones that we're wanting to punt down the road.
No, I want ones that you won't eat. Like,
yeah.
I don't like this cookie so much that I will not eat it.
My number one on my list, I would quite literally take a box of and drop kick it down a freeway and hope it gets run over by several buses.
I would not do that.
Oh, I would. Number one, it burns in the fiery pits of eternal torment.
What you need to do is you need to give that cookie to the person who likes it.
Give it to my mortal enemy.
We'll find out. We got a list coming up. All right. I do want to bring up this number since we're going to talk some positives for the Royals. We might as well talk more negatives as well. Did you see this stat? I got this from Royals Review. The Royals have only had a lead in 30 out of the 145 total innings this year. That is 21%. Yeah, they haven't won a lot, but they also haven't just been competitive in most of their games.
Yep.
And of those 30 innings that they led, we know a few of them, the bullpen was like, hey, we're going to give you the lead. And they therefore gave up the lead very, very quickly and ended up losing. What's also funny about this is they said the Royals have led 30 innings, okay? If you go back to the last time that the Royals won a game, okay? Won the game. The Royals led for not 8 of those innings. They led the Rangers 3-1 and then led in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So they led 8 innings there. You take that one game out, the Kansas City Baseball Club of the Royals have led just 22 innings this year. That's it. That is less. That's almost 2 games. That's it, 2 games. If you combine all of them, I just spilled my drink because I can't believe it. I have to clean that up. They've led Fulton 30 innings.
Yeah, they
30
have.
innings.
They have. They're not just listen. It's truly they're not just bad. They can't even hold leads.
They can't hold leads. They can't even
get them.
They can't even get a lead.
And that's what's frustrating because it should be so much better than it is. Like they should, in theory, should at least have had more innings where they're tied because, you think back to the game against Minnesota, it was 2-0 for that entire game. And so you have a game entirely where it's 2-0 and you have those issues and you sit there and you wonder, what could be in that game. Then you have the second game where it's 2-0 and you wonder what could be. It's just that frustrating thing of, not only can they not ever get a lead, they have it on the precipice of them, but they can never come through and figure it out. And it's draining. It's so incredibly draining.
Great point. From the text line, couldn't care less about the Royals. They are my baseball team, but they're the reason I lost interest in the sport. I was born after the win in 85, and it was just years of subpar play. I just lost interest in the game. I mean, that's a lot when it comes to Royals fans. I really, really do. How much of that has affected, someone did it. Maybe the Royals are pulling a major league scenario, make them bad enough for the attendance drop so bad that they move the team. That would be a thought, except for the owner actually lives in Kansas City. So that doesn't quite work. But that's That's yikes.
It's not even a full month.
No.
There is a lot of baseball left to be played.
Yep.
But it started so bad.
Let's get to positives. All
Sure.
right.
I like those.
Okay. Major League Baseball, MLB.com put together their biggest surprises for every team. For example, the Blue Jays. They say Matt Chapman is Superman. The Orioles, Cedric Mullins, slow start. It's a big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
The Rays, they call them the Low Brothers. For the AL Central, the Guardians, Josh Bell's power outage. Yikes, not good.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
Agreed.
For the Royals, Akil Baddoo is actually getting on base.
You mean for the Tigers?
For the Tigers. What'd I say?
You said the Royals.
The Royals. I meant the Tigers. Yeah, he was terrible, but now apparently he can get on base.
Good for Akil Baddoo.
So that's positive. So it's pluses and negatives. They actually went to a positive for the Royals instead of something like, say, the entire offense stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Their positive or their surprise is a positive. Aroldis Chapman looks like his old self, is what they say. They say the market for Chapman, for a variety of reasons, was thin this offseason. And if you wondered if Kansas City was going to be his last stop. But while he's not throwing quite as hard as he used to, he's bouncing back from a disastrous 2022 and is pitching as well as he has in a while. Chapman has not given up a single run through 5 appearances and is striking out nearly 2 batters per inning. It sure does change a lot of potential trade line discussions if Chapman is still pitching like this. So Aroldis Chapman, are you buying that is the biggest surprise?
I don't know if it's the biggest. It's up there. Because, I mean, that was part of my entire thing with signing Aroldis this offseason. Outside of personal off-the-field stuff that I'm still, or why I don't like the guy, I thought he was cooked. I was like, he's not going to be good. He has no command. His velocity doesn't exist. It was surprising when I watched his first outing in person, and I saw 102 several times. And I was like, oh, he's got that back in the tank.
Is that a hot gun or is that 102?
That's 102. No stadium has a hot gun.
I'm not buying that.
That's 102.
There might be a gun that's a little bit more favorable than others.
I mean, he was also throwing 102 in San Francisco.
I know.
So you're saying both Kansas City and San Francisco got hot guns?
I'm just saying, is it a hot gun?
No. So like I could be on board with that. It is one of the biggest surprises with Aroldis because that was the hope for Chapman. Was like he is signed so that he can be off this team in July. That is why he was signed.
I'm hoping earlier. I'm hoping June.
Buddy, I would hope so too. I would take that. But the idea was he would get back, he'd be at an elite closer level, and then one of the teams that needs bullpen help would trade for Aroldis Chapman because he's, bad to being Aroldis. Because, again, personal things off the board. At his best, Aroldis has always been one of the best closers in baseball because of what he can throw.
Yes.
It's just, it was gone. He was walking everybody and their sister last year, and his best fastball velocity was like 95. When he's throwing 102 with movement, a slider at 92 that can't be touched, and he's actually throwing consistent strikes, he's still great. So, that is a very positive development for the Royals that Aroldis Chapman is pitching so well. It is an incredible improvement and surprise because it means you actually have somebody that, are you going to get a top prospect from somebody back? No. No one's going to have your top prospect for a 35-year-old reliever who, at any given moment might break down. But could you get something nice?
Could you get a guy in A-ball who is toolsy maybe?
Could you get a guy that has a really high ceiling and just the floor is still a little low, he's a little raw? Yeah. Could you get something that's more than a lottery ticket for a good Aroldis Chapman?
I think so.
Yes. That's the important part here. And so I would agree with that being, if you were to tell me that that's your biggest surprise, I would not judge anyone for that selection because it's surprised me. I did not think he'd be this good. Every time, his first few outings, I was like, man, this is Now, the fact that if he goes back-to-back days, it seems like the velocity ticks down a little bit is worth monitoring, but he's throwing strikes, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest surprise for the Royals overall is just pitching as a unit. Like, we all sat here and said, the pitching might be better, but it's still not going to be good because of the people on it. There's been maybe a couple bad starts, but overall, this Royals pitching staff is so much better than expected.
I don't think you need to quote bad starts there.
Well, some of them are truly bad. Some of them are bad in thought. Lyles' start last night to me is not a bad start. He went 8 innings, get 4 runs.
Who would label that as bad?
I think there'd be people out there who would see you give up 4 runs. That's not.
Well,
good.
that ain't. It's not.
I know. I'm not. I know you didn't. You're smart.
That's why I hate.
You got a brain.
I hate runs. I hate the term runs for pitching. No, it needs to be earned runs.
Yeah, because this earned runs was 2. That's what ERA is important. Over runs allowed.
Earned ERA is to me a good.
It's a great metric.
It's a very good metric.
It's a fantastic metric.
One, because it is always been used, so people know it, and 2, it's how often do you give up a run that is.
Because let's look at the Royals in the past roughly week. Lyles last night, not a bad start. Let's go to.
I would consider that actually a very good. It was a
very good start. Sunday with Zach Greinke, not a bad start. It was fine. Not bad. Chris Bubic on Saturday, not a bad start, especially even given the injury. Brady Singer, bad start. He gave 8 runs.
Yeah,
I don't care. I give Brady credit for getting through the end and gutting it out and only allowing 1 run over the final 3 innings. He gave 8 runs. Bad start. Brad Keller last Thursday, great start. Fantastic start against the Rangers last Thursday.
Yeah. That you could argue to me, number one, the biggest surprise is Aroldis Chapman. It really is.
He's doing great.
Yes. I will agree with MLB.
Yeah.
Second biggest surprise thus far, none of the hitters. I'm not surprised at anything that these hitters do. Not at all. Oh, so-and-so struggling at the plate. Yeah, not a surprise at all. The next biggest surprise is Brad Keller. Because there's talk that the Royals weren't even going to give
he was the guy we thought of non-tendering.
Yeah,
I'm just don't give him a contract.
And right now, through his 3 starts, his ERA is 2.12. And we'll see how he does today. Because this is a stressful situation for Brad Keller.
I will just, if there are any those who have the gambling inclination out there, Brad Keller's strikeout totals last I look are still over 4.5. The over-under is 4.5 on a FanDuel at plus odds for the over. The market inefficiency might be Brad Keller strikeout overs.
He's averaging 8.5 per 9, so it's about.
He had 7 against this exact same Rangers team last time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
If only he could pitch against the Royals.
Oh boy,
how many times would Nate Eaton strike out?
Oh boy.
He struck out twice yesterday.
Nate needs to go to AAA so bad. he needs a reset. He's so off right now.
I should have went double or nothing yesterday.
You should have, and I'll be honest, I might not have taken if we put actual money on that. If we put a wager on that, I probably wouldn't have taken it.
I'm going to tell you this. If you ever bet on anything Nate Eaton positive, don't.
I'm not that sick. I'm not that sick.
Don't do that.
I'm sick. I'm not that sick.
I don't know. Could I have persuaded you to be like, oh, he's not going to strike out?
I would have known better. I would have known better.
He has struck out now.
It's well over 50%.
He has 15. Hold on a second. He has struck out 12 times in 22 at-bats.
Yep. It's bad. It's really bad.
Terrible.
He needs to go to the minors.
Good news is that his OPS plus is technically decreased to -74.
Good for him.
Coming up next, everyone loves the list, Cookie Edition. The list today, the list, worst cookies. If you were given one of these cookies, you would not eat them. Number 4.
Number 4 for me, I would not say I would not eat it. I would. It'd be very reluctantly if it's all I had. I'm not a fan of the sugar cookie.
Really?
I'm not a fan. They're fine. If this is
Okay.
all I had and I wanted if it's like someone made them and I want to be polite, I could do it. But overall, not a fan.
Okay. None of these on my list I would eat.
That's fair.
Number 4, the Devil's Food Cookie.
Oh, okay.
The marshmallow chocolate. It's just that I've had one of those. Not good at all.
That's fair.
Not good at all.
That's fair.
Not good.
Number 3 for me, macadamia nut cookies. I'm not a fan of macadamia nuts.
Really? They're one of my favorites.
I'm not a fan of I don't judge anyone who likes them. I'm just not a fan of macadamia nuts.
Okay. All right. Number 3, the oatmeal raisin comes in at
Get it
number
out of here.
3.
Burn it in a pit of fire.
Not good. Not good. Oatmeal raisin number 3.
Number 2 for me, lemon cookies. I don't like lemon cookies. I don't get the appeal.
I love lemon cookies.
I don't like them.
My favorite Girl Scout cookie
Is the little lemon thingamajiggies.
the lemonades.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Love lemon cookies.
Not a fan.
Number 2 for me, any coconut cookie.
Not a fan of coconut Oreo.
Yeah, I hate coconut.
Is it the taste or the consistency?
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Number 1 for me is very simple. It is oatmeal raisin. Burn them in a lake of fire and never make them ever again.
Number 1 for me, the fortune cookie. It's
Oh,
not even
we're-
it's not even a cookie.
We're to Jake's hatred of fortune
It's
cookies.
a fortune cookie.
Just remember, everyone, Jake hates getting winning lottery numbers.
Yes, I do. The fortune cookie. Like, no.
The fortune cookie. Okay.
Coming up next, Dan Lucero joins us to talk cookies. edition of Odds Makers coming up. We'll talk more NFL, including the Jalen Hurts compared to Patrick Mahomes contract. We'll get to that coming up here on Mic'd Up. We've got Royals baseball tonight. The Royals sending out Brad Keller up against the Rangers' Nathan Eovaldi. 6 o'clock pregame coverage. 6:40 first pitch. Right now, we bring in Dan Lucero for a little crosstalk. We might as well talk cookies real quick. Give me the cookie that you will not eat.
Oatmeal raisin.
Oatmeal. Why is it like even Matt Derrick said oatmeal cookie is what he said first, and then he combined it with also anything that has raisins. Why is it like
because raisins suck and are bad?
No, but
like that's
so it's oatmeal cookie fine.
I like an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie, delicious.
Oatmeal chocolate chip fine.
Yes.
Oatmeal raisin. So it's the
Out
raisin.
Yes. 100%.
Okay, gotcha.
100%.
That's number one. No questions asked.
No questions asked.
Okay. We're all in favor. I don't like raisins either. Like I have it third. I mean, if there are 3 cookies there and it's fortune cookie, oatmeal raisin, or coconut, I'm going to eat the oatmeal raisin.
Well, what do you against fortune cookies? They're fine.
No, they're
like they taste good after you've eaten like 16 crab rangoons and some rice.
Do you love me some crab rangoons?
Crab rangoons are so good.
I just feel like I'm being lied to. It's like cookie. There's nothing cookie about it. If they called it a fortune cracker, because that's essentially what it is.
So your issue is with the word being used to describe it.
Yes,
we're not talking cookies. We're talking semantics. That's
so. Do you get mad that the British call cookies biscuits?
No, because I'm not British.
But it's a semantic argument. They're lying to you. Those are not what you would call a biscuit. They're lying to you.
The animal cracker is a better cookie than the fortune cookie, and the animal cracker that used to get the little animal cracker
I know
boxes
what animal cracker
and everything.
is.
Yeah. Shout out. Had some of those the other day. They're better than the fortune cookie.
Shout out having a kid.
Yeah. Some of the benefits of having a kid.
You can buy animal crackers and not feel odd.
Absolutely.
Fair.
Absolutely.
Or you could be married to a first grade teacher and you can say, these are for work.
No.
I
can do neither of these things. If I want animal crackers, I have to deal with the fact that someone's going to ask me why I'm buying animal crackers.
You know what snack my wife's students, it turns out they love? Saltines.
Kids love saltines, man.
They went crazy for some saltines when my wife brought them in as a snack a couple weeks ago.
Hey, real quick, Loki, what? And maybe this will be a list.
Oh boy!
But like the most mundane, the Ritz cracker, I think is the most versatile cracker out there.
It might be.
I will eat Ritz crackers just with a meal. Like
you're pulling out a handful of Lay's, except it's Ritz crackers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I feel that.
That's fine.
If sometimes if I have a choice between chips and Ritz crackers,
You're taking the Ritz cracker.
I'm taking the Ritz crackers. I think they're so versatile. You can put anything on a Ritz cracker. You can put dips on it. You can put cheese. You can put sausage. You can put. I mean,
a little Ritz with a summer sausage is delightful.
I'm telling you, the Ritz cracker might be the Shohei Ohtani of vessels.
Fulton, maybe single people eat crackers. We don't know. Frankly, we don't want to know. It's a market we could do without.
I'm just saying, the Ritz cracker fantastic.
Man, I did not realize Jake had these opinions on Ritz crackers.
They're so good, man.
Ritz crackers are delicious.
Jake's a big wheel down at the Ritz cracker factory.
Got to code the company line. I love it.
Did you say code the company line?
No, I got to toe the company
That's
line.
what he said.
It is what he said.
He misspoke. I know he wanted to say toe the company line, but he did misspoke.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are hating on Ritz crackers.
No,
I'm not hating.
We're just impressed by your devotion.
Yes.
Like you're reading off of a one sheet, like a.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I'm chuckling at.
Team
here.
Big Cracker. There we go. No question. All right, Dan. What are the odds that the Royals win today?
The odds that they win today?
Yeah.
Are you looking for an actual answer?
I want an actual answer. Like, I think 20%, 30%.
Oh, so you want an answer like that? Well, I think they have maybe a slight edge in the pitching matchup. They hit Eovaldi pretty well last week. I'll nudge their probability up toward 35-40%. Brad Keller's pitched well.
He has.
And the Royals tuned Eovaldi up pretty well in Texas last week. So, yeah, I'll nudge the probability up a little bit.
Right now, the Royals are a
Plus 108.
plus 106.
Oh.
That's the
So,
worst
what is
odds that you've had for the Royals, if you want to make money aspect of it. Rangers minus 124. Yeah, they think it's going to be a one-run game. Royals minus 156, getting a run and a half, whereas the Rangers plus 130. So minus 1.5. How about that?
plus 108, according to the implied probability calculator at gamingtoday.com, is about a 41% chance. So that's
Vegas has got 41. So
They're right there with you, Dan.
Yeah.
a little bit lower on the Royals in Vegas because you've seen the offense.
yeah,
You've seen the offense.
seen their movies.
Okay, the Royals have 22 games. The next 22 games, they're against not very good teams. What is the lowest win total that they should have in these 22 games?
Well, here's I'm looking at them right now.
Mhm.
Like, they're going to have to face Ohtani against the Angels.
Okay.
Arizona's playing well. Minnesota's playing well. Baltimore's playing well. I think all those teams are better than the Royals are. The A's are, they're gross. Like if the Royals can't score any runs against the A's, it may be time to rethink some things organizationally. That's a really bad pitching staff. I can't say the worst because I'm intimately familiar with who has a worse pitching staff than them, but they're the worst in the American League by some distance. Next 22, man, if they could just get some equilibrium and take 11 or 12 of them.
Okay.
Like that'd be a step in the right direction.
Because the Angels are not world beaters. Neither, I don't think the Diamondbacks are. I don't think Baltimore
No,
is.
not world beater, but
Yeah.
playing better right now.
So I look at that and say, if they don't go,
They just got to steady the ship. Like it can feel, especially early in the year, when you go on a stretch like this, it feels like it's never going to end. It feels like you are just never going to win another baseball game when you are in an April slump. It's the worst time to slump because you don't have like the big sample size. Like you have a bad stretch in August. You're like, well, we've seen them play better than this. So they'll snap out of it. They'll turn it around. This is all we got of the 2023 Royals. This gross 17-game sample size.
would you rather your team end up winning 70 games, but your team starts out like this, or your team starts hot and fritters it away? What would you rather have?
Being intimately familiar with both scenarios that generally end up with the team winning somewhere in the 70s, I think you'd rather start like this because
I disagree fully.
No, you don't want the false hope. Honestly,
Give me the false
the
hope.
hope is what kills you.
No. The reason I don't want my team to go 4. If the Royals end up winning 70 games, I'm going to be so upset.
That would be, let's see, that would be 66 wins and they got 13 losses.
Yeah.
That would be up at 92. So they go 66 and 69 the rest of the way. Is that right? That math.
66 and
66 and 69 the rest of the way. You play virtually 500 ball from here. No, because that
Royals, I would be so mad if that occurs, Dan.
For the Royals, that would indicate some upward trajectory, some growth, that things got better as the season went along. That's what you're hoping for from this group, right? But there was never the idea that these Royals were going to contend. You want them to get better from game 1 to 162. So yeah, go ahead and start slow. Don't fill me with false April hope.
I want false April hope, because then at least I care about my baseball team. Because right now, I brought up 22 games, Dan, for a simple reason. Because if they don't play 500 ball against this stretch, then I'm done with this Royals team. Their funeral to me will be on May the 12th. And I'm done with them. Because why? Why should I invest when they're, 14 and 25 or 12 and 27 and they're done? They are cooked. At least I can be like, I can watch games in May and actually care about them. Be like, wow, this Royals team, oh gosh, they almost had it yesterday. Instead where it's like, oh, they're down 3-0. I talked to my wife, no reason to watch the Royals anymore. Like, I get your point because in the grand scheme of things, right? 70 wins is 70 wins, right? Doesn't matter if they start 0-50 and then rattle off a whole bunch of wins, or start 50-0 and lose a whole bunch. What's your number is what's your number. But at least I want to like my baseball team for the start of the season, because as my good friend Fulton Castro always says, optimism. You got to be optimistic. Well, I am not optimistic right now. It is such a slog, and now it's more of a punchline. Hey, the Royals are on. Oh, now they're down. Like, that's why. I mean, it's a philosophical difference here.
Yeah, it is, and I get it. Like, I totally get where you're coming from. But I've done the fast April start to oblivion thing a few too many times as a fan of my personal favorite baseball team, and I can't. It's not any more fun. In fact, it's worse, because like, I saw this. I saw it. I thought we were good.
Listen, I remember.
Where are you siding on here? Which one? One or the other?
I remember 2021 all too well for the Royals, when they were 16-9 to finish April, and then they barely won 70 games. I never want to have that feeling ever again.
So you're on my team sucks early.
Don't give me the false hope, because like, as much as this team is already starting to just beat me in the skull with a 2x4 with how they're playing right now.
The amount of different variations of describing how bummed we are, I hadn't heard that one yet. Well done.
Like, even with this, I can go, one, I expected it. Not this bad, but like, I expected somewhat of a slow start. And two, as kind of Dan pointed out, like, I didn't expect this team to contend this year. So like, them being bad for a stretch is just par for the course. But like, I remember 2021 intimately well, when they were, I think it was actually 15-9 on May 1st.
They were rolling.
They were rolling. I was like, oh my goodness, like, rebuild's going well, everything's going good, and then May and June happened. And you listen, you think you've seen me bad now?
Oh, I remember the Royal Caster last year. Trust me.
You think I was bad then?
No, the Royal Caster.
Imagine how I was during that.
Here, okay.
That like the false hope is truly brutal.
The last thing I'm going to say as to why I would much rather start 15-9 than 4-15. Okay, is then I'm at least caring about my baseball team June 1st.
And so I get your point there. What
it's I think I'm more invested in June right now. There's a great chance that I won't. I will go back to. On May 12th, if they don't go, 500, and they're sitting there at, 10-26, they've only won 6 games or 7 games or whatever, right? And they play on Friday against the Brewers, right? And they lose in a walk-off fashion. Now, technically, they can't do that because they'll be on the road. Yeah, they lose in walk-off fashion. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Insert Brewer here. I don't know any Brewers right now.
Christian Yelich. We'll throw that in there.
Yeah.
He won't do it because he sucks now.
Bryce Turang.
There we go.
That's a good one.
Garrett Mitchell.
That's a good pull.
The Royals are up 6-0 going into the 9th. They give up 7 runs.
And
lose.
Brutal.
I'm going to be ecstatic.
Because they held a 6-0 lead into the 9th?
No, because in that game, Bobby Wood Jr. had a home run. Vinny Pasquantino went 2 for 3. And insert young pitcher here, tossed 5 innings, and you had Nick Lofton, who got called up, went 1 for 2. That's a win. And I don't care what any of you guys tell me, that's a win. Well, because at that point in time, I don't care anymore. I just want development.
Here's the thing.
So losses don't
What
mean
you
anything.
call a win right there is what I've been calling a win since March 30th.
Then why are you upset that they lose?
That's just the emotional feeling of being a fan. Like I can still, like, I've talked all the time, like, I want to see positives in what they do. I'm going to be emotionally upset when they lose because I'm emotionally invested in the team.
Yeah.
But like, that's where I go to, like, the false hope. And the thing here is, like, I don't need them to start 15-9 to care. I, for better or worse, and it's often for worse, am going to care about this team no matter what.
Oh, see, that's where that's fine. That's just different.
Yeah.
Like the Royals.
That's like, I don't need wins in April to care. I just need guys to. I look for positive elements, and there's been some.
I need wins to care, because otherwise.
Then yes, you obviously would like the false hope.
Yeah, give me. I'm invested in the Royals in June 8th, because there is a non-zero chance that they lose 7 more games in a row, and I'm done with the Royals May 1st. They didn't even get me to May. I would rather be led on than stomped on.
Oh, buddy, I've been
Speaking of
led on in so
stomped
many
on,
things
how
far
about
too
that?
often. You don't want to be led on. It's not fun.
You know, instead of being led on, you got stomped on. The whole like Draymond Green stomping on Mr. Sabonis here.
Great segue.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Top
for
tier.
this.
My number one takeaway from all of that, Sabonis is so soft. Man, my guy acted like he got ran over by a monster truck or a grand piano, like, fell on him.
Well,
You barely got touched and stepped on. Barely.
later in the game, he tried to draw a charge on Steph Curry, so that's what Domantas Sabonis
And
is
that's
made of.
my number
that
one
tells
takeaway.
me, yeah, that tells me all I know. All I need to know about
That
Domantas
man
Sabonis.
was
That he's
rolling around
charming, soft. That being
on
said,
the ground because you barely got stomped on.
That's-
Hockey players right now are looking at that guy going, "You're pathetic." I'm sorry. That's my big takeaway. It involved Draymond Green. All these kind of situations end up with Draymond Green. That's not a surprise. That's my number one takeaway. The whole stomping on.
yeah, you can't
Come on, buddy.
step on people, man.
You can't. But it's Draymond Green, and he's gonna get in trouble for it.
Sabonis did hold his foot.
He
He
did.
was trying
Oh,
to
yeah,
get his
that was-
leg
that was
free,
a-
but he also didn't need to
That was
Christian Laettner him.
That was a very Grayson Allen move to grab the foot.
Somebody
you know
said
what I
it
mean?
looked like he was trying to ollie Sabonis, like he was trying to do a skateboard trick.
And oh god, he crushed my chest. Some people are like he could have broken ribs. All right, okay. Your Nuggets, they play tonight.
No, they play tomorrow.
I don't like the 2 days in between games.
Yeah, they do that a lot, and then
That's not good. That's bad.
some of it is, arenas get double booked because the Avalanche open their playoffs tonight in Denver, so Denver can host game 2.
So things
at
are
home.
good sports wise in Denver, except for your favorite team.
It is, I believe, the first time ever that both the Nuggets and Avalanche have won division championships in the same year, which is kind of cool. I mean,
Nice.
since like
Nice.
1996.
If you had your choice
Nuggets,
over Rockies,
man, the Nuggets have been in my life longer. Like that's the dividing line.
how much longer?
Well, I knew the Nuggets before the Rockies were founded in 93, like
Well, when were you born?
86. So yes, I have conscious. Listen, when I was 3.5 years old, we brought a cat home from the Denver Dumb Friends League, first family pet for the Luceros, and I named that pet Doug Moe after the Denver Nuggets head coach. I was as sports obsessed as it's possible for a 3.5-year-old child to be.
Okay.
And so it was the Nuggets. It was
So the Nuggets over the Rockies. I never would have thought that.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I kind of thought you were saying Nuggets or Avalanche in this
No.
playoff run. So
That was
it's
easy.
a
Well,
little-
that one's easy. You just had one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need a two-peat.
No, that's tough. I think
No, you're gonna go Rocky.
yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
just
go.
more, more rewarding to win a baseball's my favorite sport,
Yeah.
and it's more rewarding, I think, to win a World Series.
Yeah, it is.
Prisoner of the moment there.
Yeah, it is.
But it would mean a lot because the Nuggets are the one team that my dad and I feel the same way about. Like he had a David Thompson poster on the wall.
Okay.
I had Dikembe Mutombo posters on the wall. So there's that father and son
Yeah.
like shared experience with that team that I don't have with any of the other teams I root for. So that it would be really special if the Nuggets could do it. Finally, it would really be special.
Okay. Would you rather the Nuggets get to the finals and lose, or just lose in the second
Man, they've
round?
never been to an NBA Finals. I would love them to get to an NBA Finals.
And lose.
Sure.
Like, right now, we lose in the finals. You'd take it.
Yeah, you'd make some money off that.
I probably would. Yeah. No. Geez. No. I'd let it ride. I'd let it ride. If you offered me, you go to the finals, but you lose.
Right now, Nuggets
Guaranteed finals appearance or let it ride.
Yeah.
I'd let it ride. I'd let it ride.
Let it ride. Okay, that's what I was kind of wondering. So the whole false hope thing,
Yeah. This doesn't feel like false hope. We got the 2-time reigning MVP, man.
Yeah. Who's gonna win it this year?
MVP?
Yeah.
Embiid.
Is it gonna be Embiid?
Media decided it was going to be Embiid. So yeah.
Embiid.
Even though if it's going to be anybody, honestly, should be Giannis. But
he's good too. When he doesn't dunk over people taking charges. Dan, we appreciate the time.
hey, always a pleasure, guys.
Coming up, we'll get some more Chiefs news and when the Chiefs could move into a new facility. Jake and Fulton coming to you on a Tuesday, hour number 3. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get to a little odds makers. We'll talk a little Chiefs football. We'll get to some Royals baseball as well. Let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Check us out on YouTube. Go to Sports on 580. Click the subscribe button. You can get all the videos, recaps, shows, everything on our YouTube page. Check us out on our website, 580www.com. Very simple, very easy. Fulton, I got a bet for you. We were talking there during the break.
Oh,
All right, you ready for this?
Sure.
Double or nothing.
Oh no.
So this would be you have to mow my yard 0 times.
Mm-hmm.
0 if you win this bet. Or if you lose it, you will now have to mow my yard 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet you that the Lakers beat the Grizzlies.
In the series.
Yeah, in the series.
Oh, I'll take that action.
Okay, there we go.
I will take that action.
Okay.
I won't even enforce the caveat that John Morant has to be fully healthy. No.
That is not a caveat. Even if you wanted that caveat, that's not part of the bet.
And then I would not have taken the bet.
Okay, yeah.
No.
And that's fine. Yeah. But it's either, do you think that's like Vegas? Do you think the Lakers are going to win the series, or do you think the Grizzlies are going to win the series? So you're going to take the Grizz?
Yep.
I'll take the Lakers. Lakers got a 1-0 lead. There we go. All righty, there we go. This will be fun. This is going to be a fun wager because...
Man, I'm finally going to not have to do this.
Or they win... When do they play again?
Tonight?
They play tonight?
I'm not confident in that, I'm guessing. The amount I pay attention to the NBA playoffs and the Bulls aren't in it is like a number at almost exact 0.
They do not play tonight.
Sure, cool.
Phoenix, LA plays, Boston, Atlanta.
So they'll play tomorrow just like when the Nuggets play. Yeah, tomorrow's 6:30.
Yes. On TNT. Oh, man, I hope the Lakers win that game because then you will start to get nervous.
It's only 2 games. 22.
Nervous. Yeah, that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one.
Long series.
There we go. So, we good?
Yeah.
All right?
We good.
All right. I'm excited about this now. We got a little, got some stay. You won't be nervous at all if the Lakers win and go up 2-0.
Nope.
Not worried one bit.
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
I'm good, brother.
See, I'm win-win. I just needed. I don't think you'd ever bet me on the Royals.
I'm starting to learn my lesson with them.
And so I thought I had to go somewhere.
You had to
else.
get a little creative. I get it. I respect it. I respect the creativity with this.
And I don't know if you'd take anything because I need something that you firmly believe in for you to actually accept the bet. And your team, Dylan Brooks.
No.
Well, he plays for the Grizzlies.
No.
So do you not want to make the bet?
No, I'll tell you the Grizzlies will beat the Lakers in the 7-game series. Don't call me Team Dylan Brooks.
You're going to be cheering for Dylan Brooks now.
Not exactly.
Dylan Brooks goes for 30. You're not going to be excited?
If it leads to a Grizzlies win, then yes.
Yeah, Team Dylan Brooks. Baby.
Empty stats, nothing. in this day and age of the NBA, you can score 30 and still lose. And then I don't, then I'm like, what are you doing that for?
Yeah, no, that you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
We got some news here.
A little bit of news
Happened over the last hour.
A little bit of news.
This is a topic that no one really is talking about because, to quote the great Howard Mudd, how come you don't give Jim Sorgi some reps? Well, that means 18 got hurt and we would be screwed. We don't practice screwed. He used a different word.
He used a word we really, really can't use.
Which is a great point.
Yeah.
If Peyton Manning goes down, we are screwed.
Yeah.
We don't prepare.
You don't practice
screwed.
for that.
You don't prepare for screwed.
You just live with it when it happens.
But the last 4 years, I think Chiefs fans would tell you that their backup quarterback was one of the better backups considering the situation in the game. You've got Travis Kelce, you've got Andy Reid, you've got a good O-line. You know, he had Tyreek Hill at one point. And you said, okay, Chad Henne, you are exactly what the Chiefs need. Nothing flashy, throw a couple, hook routes, sell yourself, throw a pass to Tyreek Hill on 4th and 6 inches. Don't turn it over. Just be a veteran, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chad Henne will go down as a Chief great, helped lead the Chiefs to 2 Super Bowls. Well, he's retired. And the thought process was, is Shane Buechele going to be the backup? Okay. They kept him on the active 53 last year for a reason, right? Why else would you keep him on the 53? Protect him because you don't want someone else to scoop him up. That was a big talking point because really the Chiefs didn't have 53-man roster. They had a 52-man roster.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are signing Blaine Gabbert, according to the Pat McAfee show.
The Gabber.
Former Missouri quarterback Blaine Gabbert. Yay or nay? Is this the new version of Chad Henne? Is this their Chad Henne now? Blaine Gabbert, 33 years old, been a backup quarterback for Tampa Bay the last 3 years. Blaine Gabbert. You good with... No, it's not
No, what's that?
Are you good with Blaine Gabbert being your backup quarterback?
If he wins the job, it'll be fine.
Would you rather have Chad Henne or Blaine Gabbert, or are they, in fact, the same?
They're about the same.
They're about the same?
Like, they're veteran dudes, so if they have to start more than, 2 games, I'd start losing my hair.
Do you think Blaine Gabbert can come in and play 2 or 3 series if Mahomes goes down in a playoff game to keep them afloat?
Yeah. He's shown that the last 3 years. He has shown since being a backup the last few years that if you need him in a pinch, he can do fine.
In the last 3 years, he has thrown 35 passes. 6 of 8 this last year for a touchdown for Tampa Bay. Did not start a single game. 2 years ago in 21, 7 for 11, 67 yards. And then in 2020, 9 of 16, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. The last interception he threw was in 2018. Would you rather have Blaine Gabbert or Shane Buechele as your backup quarterback?
I do not have enough data to answer that question. I would, if the Chiefs feel confident in Shane Buechele winning out the backup job, then I will take their word for it that he'd be fine. I'd be okay, he can do the job. That's what I mean. As of this juncture, I'd go with Gabbert because he's played NFL games.
Okay. So if you had to choose 2 quarterbacks to be on your roster right now, April 18th, who are you taking?
I probably lean Gabbert.
Gabbert?
Only because Buechele's never played an NFL game. But if the Chiefs go through all of training camp and all the preseason, because that's what Gabbert's here for. Gabbert is in here to be a competition for Buechele to push him.
1,000%.
If Buechele wins that competition, then I'll be, all right, cool. Then Buechele's going to be a backup because I trust their judgment. But he hasn't been good enough to be a backup yet.
Mm-hmm.
So based on that information, I would still probably lean Gabbert. But for me, it is a wide open competition of just Buechele wins it, then Buechele's the best option, and let's go.
I don't think that this is a non-story. I think this is a story. Your backup quarterback does matter. And if you don't think it does, just look at the Chiefs the last couple of years. You need to have somebody step in if your look at Matt Moore.
The legend.
Moore came in, beat the
Vikings.
The Vikings. They beat the Vikings, took the Packers to the tilt with Matt Moore. The backup quarterback does matter. Mm-hmm. It really, really does. I would lean with Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
I would lean Blaine Gabbert because he does have the experience. And that's what I care about most. Now, Blaine Gabbert, not great, but because he at least has seen the NFL. And I think if Shane Buechele comes into the game, whenever he does, I don't know I think the moment might be too big for him. I think the moment will overwhelm him potentially, and I think he will get nervous. He has not seen the things that Blaine Gabbert has seen. Blaine Gabbert has started 48 games. I would go with Blaine Gabbert. That's why I thought keeping Shane Buechele on the active 53 didn't make a whole lot of sense. I think, to me, someone that 53rd man roster spot was worth keeping a special teams guy or somebody else and risk putting Buechele on the practice squad. And the reason why is because of this move right here. They don't make this move if they think Buechele is good enough, no questions asked, to be the backup. And then you bring in whoever to just get, reps in at training camp and OTAs. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to throw to him. Who else is going to throw to him? You know what I mean? Like, go sign a UDFA or, get someone locally who can throw passes during training camp. You know what I mean? Like, if they thought Buechele was good enough, I don't think they make this move. But I don't think Buechele. It goes back to what we said. Well, how is Shane Buechele supposed to get experience? If he's not gonna, if they're not gonna give him a chance, you get experience somewhere else. You don't get experience with the Kansas City Chiefs because they are trying to win Super Bowls day in and day out. And if Mahomes goes down because of an ankle injury against Jacksonville, I have more confidence in Blaine Gabbert driving them down 90 yards for the touchdown than I do Shane Buechele. And maybe I'm wrong there.
Here's what I'll say to that. Here's my thoughts on the whole situation. One, Gabbert is to a level of camp body. Like, even this early, Gabbert's a camp body. But also, like, even if the Chiefs were fairly confident that Buechele could take over the backup role, it's smart to give him competition.
Oh, no, this is a great idea.
Here's where I go between Buechele and Gabbert. Gabbert has the overall longer standing NFL experience. 100%. The fact of the matter is also this, and where I go to with the competition in camp and what it would be. The edge Buechele has is he's been in this system for like 3 to 4 years.
It goes with
Gabbert doesn't know the system.
Do you know the system or do you go with experience?
Yeah.
And they're going with, I think Blaine Gabbert, who's played in 70 games, can learn the system.
Yeah.
And he's seen this blitz. He's seen that blitz in real time in the NFL. Whereas Buechele knows the system, but he hasn't played in a meaningful game. Now, to him, preseason games are meaningful. And this really does help out the Chiefs with the new cut rules. Now there's just one cut.
Yeah,
you go from 90 to 53, and that's it. So a big day for the Turk coming up at the end of August. I don't think this is a huge decision because, well, for a long term, if Mahomes goes down, the Chiefs are not going to the AFC title game. But you have to plan for, okay, if Mahomes misses a game or if Mahomes misses a couple series in a key aspect, who has the best chance to deliver? And we will know, because if they keep Blaine Gabbert, then,
if they pick Blaine Gabbert over Shane Buechele, it tells us everything we need to know.
So it's a smart move by the Chiefs. It really is.
It's good camp competition.
It's
going to be helpful, but with Shane Buechele, there is still enough of that potential that he could be a high-end backup quarterback. And this is going to be the role-deciding year, because I don't think this is a year where they keep Buechele on the active roster for maybe he's starting quarterback down the line. Maybe he's backup quarterback down the line guy. Like, this is the year for Shane Buechele to win the backup job. And if he doesn't, happy trails. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah. Right now, as it stands on April 18th, I would rather put Blaine Gabbert in at quarterback in a game than Shane Buechele. Can that change? Yeah, but I'm going to go with the vet.
That's fair.
I am.
Incredibly fair.
And they were going to sign somebody like this.
Oh yeah, you always need 3 quarterbacks in camp.
Well, I always thought they would, because they've always wanted the veteran. That's why they didn't go with whatever his name was, and they brought in Matt Moore. You know what I mean? So I think this was always going to be something that the Chiefs would rather have. But I do believe Blaine Gabbert, if they brought in, I'm trying to think of someone like CJ Beathard. Okay. If CJ Beathard was signed, to me, he's a camp body. I don't think Blaine Gabbert's a camp body. I think they view him as a backup as opposed to a camp body. Do you remember trick shot artist Alex Tanney? Remember Alex Tanney?
Oh yeah.
He was a camp body, right? Like, there's a difference to me between a camp body and someone who's vying for a backup role.
I think that's fair.
And I think Blaine Gabbert, this would be interesting if you could ask Brett Veach, true serum, right now, who's the backup quarterback. I wonder if he would say Blaine Gabbert or if he would say Shane Buechele.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to tell you that answer. No. He'd be like, well, we're going to, good camp competition.
Good competition, keep the options open,
yeah.
Yada, 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 the old garbage.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to think on how people are spinning this. Is he the backup, or is he, Field Yates, ESPN, says the Chiefs have their new backup quarterback, Blaine Gabbert. Are they viewing this as, no, it's... Well,
the national media is going to view this as a backup quarterback because the national media is not as intimately familiar with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, every person who has a cursory knowledge of the Chiefs is going to go, oh, he'll be the backup quarterback for Kansas City, without any knowledge of who the hell Shane Buechele is. Whereas those of us that cover the team and know more, like, oh, it is a competition to be backup quarterback with Shane Buechele.
I'm also excited about this for another reason. Now, the Chiefs are not going to draft a quarterback.
Probably not.
Hot take. The Chiefs should never draft a quarterback as long as Patrick Mahomes is with the Chiefs.
I disagree with that take vehemently.
Really?
Yes. At some point, you need to start preparing for the future.
Future backup?
Future starting quarterback. At some point, Patrick Mahomes is going to be near the point where, like, man, he might be hanging those cleats up in like 3 years. That's where I go to, might need to be drafting a quarterback.
In the next 11 years, they should not draft a quarterback.
How old's Pat? Pat's my age. I don't know if Pat's my age. So next 11 years be 38. I'd keep the door open to drafting one the next 11 years.
They should never draft a quarterback past they shouldn't. You can find the Blaine Gabberts and the Shane Buechele.
Yeah, you shouldn't draft your quarterback to just be your pure backup quarterback. Yeah. But eventually, like, Pat Jones is not playing for eternity. His career will end at some point.
That's why I said 11 years. Let's say
that's fine, but then he's 38.
Cool. I think he's going to be slinging it at 38.
And if he is, good deal. Awesome. But also, that's the point where I go, all right, maybe you want to start getting the contingency plans in place.
Here's what we need. We need Patrick Mahomes to play until he's 47. So that way he can throw a pass to his son who plays for the Chiefs.
I mean, how do you not know that Patrick Mahomes, the third, will not be a quarterback? Bronze can be a quarterback.
Well, then
he's not throwing a pass to his son.
Well,
he's playing receiver. He's playing quarterback.
Well, he'll line up as a wide receiver, so they throw that, kind of like Bronny, like LeBron. I mean, all he's doing is still playing to play with his kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because that'll be that's going to be the next wild story, is because LeBron will be a free agent after next year.
Yeah,
because he signed a 1 year.
Openly said he's going to probably go sign with whoever drafts his kid.
Yeah, that's wild.
Congrats, Orlando! You get LeBron James.
And I can't wait to follow that. That is one NBA story I'm going to follow.
Yeah, that will be one of the rare NBA stories that will actually catch my attention. Because not because I care, because that's kind of intriguing.
How good is the 40-year-old LeBron going to be? Don't know. How good? Like, his son is a 4-star kid.
Yeah.
Are you
climbing up those boards?
Are you willing to draft him high so you get 40-year-old LeBron?
Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
Yeah. I'm looking forward.
It'll be
to
interesting.
That. I know. But Blaine Gabbert.
No, I don't
deal.
really believe the Chiefs should draft backup quarterbacks.
No.
Like, I think it's just not a draft capital thing you should do. If you're going to go for like a rookie quarterback, I think just look at the undrafted free agent class and just like, who of you guys could we turn into someone serviceable? But no, when Pat's like 36, maybe you spend a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback, because in a couple years, Mahomes might be done. We don't like to think about it, but that career of his has an end date on it.
I don't know.
We don't know what the end date is, and I'd like it to be really, 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 really far down the line.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
But that thing's got an end date on it.
Not
all
at this
good
point.
things come to an end.
Not at this point. I'm thinking, right? But I am, because who is it? Just going to be Bouchel? Who's going to be the quarterback? Blaine Gabbert.
It's a
1-year deal.
This is just always like I had to say to myself there, that genuine reminder that Patrick Mahomes and I are the same age.
Yeah, LeBron and I are the same age.
You're doing just as well as him, man.
Yeah. Me and LeBron.
I'm glad we both have like a very high level athlete to compare our stages in life to.
What?
We'll just have a guy we can go, yeah, we're the same age as this guy. We're doing just as great.
Yeah.
Glad we both have that.
The two of
could you imagine like playing basketball at that level at the age you're feeling right now?
No, I played golf yesterday and my back hurt.
What's sadder for me is I played golf for the weekend in Wichita. My back hurt.
Now that's bad.
I know.
That's not good. I'm going to stretch out the old hammies.
Yeah, I know. I say that every time I play. I'm like, God, I got to work on my flexibility.
Yeah. I like this move. I think this is a good move. I really do. I think Blaine Gabbert will be the backup quarterback for the Chiefs coming up.
And that'd be perfectly fine.
Coming up, we got some odds makers here on Mic'd Up. Makers here on Mike Fulton. What are the odds the Royals lose 100 games?
Oh boy,
we're starting to get interesting now.
Let's see.
Let's recap the numbers.
Let's recap the numbers, Jake, because I have, like I've said many times, I've been tracking these numbers because it's fun. I'm going to make this into a big graph eventually. I need more data for it to even look cool.
Correct.
We started off 5%. Then we went to March 28th. We did 3%. On the 4th, it was 1. Last week, it was 2. Folks, we're back to 5%.
Oh, no, Fulton. My guy.
I'm trying not to overreact and have big jumps week to week because we're still early, but a lot of time.
But the losses start to accumulate.
Like I said, I do not need just wins to find a way to feel good about this team. Like, I'm always going to emotionally react to the wins and losses, but I also do hunt for, are young players playing well? Are there still, like, the pitching staff still gives me some hope. They're all pitching really well. The hitting at times, I'm like, I can see the flashes to where it'll all come together. That gets me through the tough times. Last night gave me a lot of pain. Like,
oh, you mean the whole one hit thing?
Oh, last night was brutal. I can't lie. Last night was as bad as I felt in a long time. So yeah, that accounts for our jump in 3 percentage points in the week here. Because the Brave series didn't beat me down that much. It really didn't, because it's kind of what I expected. You know, and then they had that 10-1 win against the Rangers. I was like, see, it's there. It can happen. And then we had last night, which just was a punch across the face. I think tonight will be better, but we're back to the high water mark of 5. We're as high as we've ever been.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
The Royals win today by multiple runs.
So you would take them plus 1.5 easily on the run line.
Oh, I am taking alternate line.
Oh.
I am taking Royals minus 1.5.
What's the odds on that, Jake?
I don't know. But I think the Royals get a win today.
Because I already got my little. I've started doing a 3-leg parlay for a Royals game. I'm surprisingly profitable on these, mainly because I bet on Royals opponents to do good things. It's really helpful.
So, are you technically betting on the Royals?
Well, I have like a couple Royals players to do good things in there usually.
That's
one
more
or two.
like you're betting against the Royals.
Listen, I had Nathan Eovaldi the over on strikeouts last time he pitched, and we got there. It was helpful. I appreciated Nathan Eovaldi's work. This one today, though, is all Royals. It's all Royals. So I'm betting on the boys to do well today. I'm telling you, Brad Keller over 4.5 strikeouts, market inefficiency. Ride with them until Vegas figures it out. Eventually they will. But ride with it as long as you can.
I don't know if you can do alternate line.
Oh, no. You can't do an alternate run line?
Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. Alternate run lines. Okay, here we go. Royals. Minus 1.5. Plus 198.
Make yourself a good chunk of change with that.
I like it. That's what we're doing.
So what you doing?
I like the Royals.
That's fair.
Yep. Royals get the win 6-4.
6-4. Okay.
6-4.
6-4. Okay. I feel it.
Keller pitches well, goes with your strikeouts. You know, I'll bet that right now. I'm just a standalone bet.
Okay.
Strikeouts. Brad Keller over 4.5. Plus value.
See, that's the market inefficiency right there.
Bam.
It's a good bet.
I'm riding with Fulton. Not a smart move, but the Royals?
Hey, when it comes to betting on baseball, I'm actually doing surprisingly well lately.
The Royals
Don't.
are
Come on.
due.
Oh, come
They're
on.
due. They're due for a win.
In the spirit of something we talked about off the air with Dan, what are the odds the Sacramento Kings reach the Western Conference Finals? They would have to go through the Warriors, who they're up 2-0 on.
Well, they're going to win against the Warriors because...
And then they would have to go through either the Lakers or Grizzlies, which for you're probably thinking it's the Lakers, apparently.
Yeah.
So do they beat the Warriors and Lakers? Are we lighting that beam all the way to the Western Conference Finals? The greatest marketing thing anyone's done is light the beam. It's so great.
Yeah, they are. I'll say the odds that they beat the Warriors has got to be like 80% right now.
Mm-hmm. 2-0.
Though I think that they're going to beat the Warriors one time in at Oracle.
So you think they'll be 3-1 coming back? I think it's the Chase Center now.
I don't know.
I think it's the Chase Center now.
They're going to win one time in
the Bay.
And then I think that they'll win it in 6.
Yeah.
So they'll advance, which will be cool because the Kings have sucked for so long.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great story.
I mean, when Vlade Divac was the last time that you were any good, honestly, that's kind of like the Royals. Like the last time the Royals were good was when, Fred White and Steve Balboni and Buddy Biancalana were playing.
It's a real insult to the team that won a World Series in 2015.
No, I'm saying in 2015. Like that was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting your point now.
Yeah.
I'm saying this. I thought you meant like the last time period from this moment in time. And I'm like,
because the Kings were
won a World
good.
Series 8 years ago.
The Kings were good.
Yeah, they made the playoffs in like 16 years. Or some crazy crap like that. It's been an eternity.
2003?
Sure. That number sounds right.
The last time the Kings... No, it was correct. The last time they were like really good was 2003, 2004.
Yeah, 20 years.
When they lost in the conference semis. They did make the playoffs in 2005. They lost in the first round. And then ever since then, they haven't made the playoffs. So, I mean, it's kind of got like a Royals feel from 85 to 14.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be cool. Yeah, I hope they do. I'll say 55%. I think better than not that they're going to make the conference finals.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And I think whoever they play in the conference finals, they're going to get stomped. I think it's going to be the Nuggets or the Suns in the NBA finals.
Okay.
There we go. Go Kings. Used to be the Kansas City Kings.
They're very fun.
Way back in
the beam makes me happy.
1984. Last season for the Kings. 84-85. Kansas City Kings.
Yeah.
Last
memories. I remember it well.
Coming up next, we're going to talk the date for the Royals. We'll get to that coming up here on Mic'd Up. Night. Brad Keller on the mound. Nathan Eovaldi going for the Rangers. The Royals lineup. Haven't seen it yet. Has it been out?
Yes, it's out.
Royals lineup looks like this. Bobby Witt Jr. leading off, playing short. MJ Melendez playing right field, batting second. Salvador Perez batting third, catching. Vinny Pasquantino batting cleanup, playing first. So they got 1 through 4 right.
Yep.
Okay. Then they go Reyes at DH, batting fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Massey at second base, batting sixth.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very high spot to be batting Michael Massey.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Mr. Edward Olivares batting sixth, playing in left field. Glad you got that.
Well done. That is actually one of your best ones. That was very good.
Kyle Isbell in center, batting seventh.
Batting eighth.
Batting eighth, beg your pardon. And Nicky Lopez batting ninth, playing third. Witt, Melendez, Perez, Pasquantino, Reyes, Massey, Olivares, Isbell, and Lopez.
Olivares.
Because that's what he does.
Poor
in the
guy.
That's what he does in the outfield.
Poor buddy.
Olay!
Oh, he's such a bad defender.
Not good.
So bad.
Yeah, that's.
This is your.
Is this the best
Yes.
lineup?
Given their current roster, I mean, we can quibble over Matt Duffy. And I mean, right now, is Matt Duffy an upgrade over Michael Massey? Sure, because Matt Duffy can at least make contact. Long term, Matt Duffy ain't good. We that's been decided for years, folks. When you're starting to argue over whether you're going to start Matt Duffy or Michael Massey, you've already lost the argument.
But that means Massey's been that bad to
Yeah,
start things off.
and I don't disagree with that. I think, like I said, I think Massey has potential.
Yeah.
He much like Nate Eaton needs a trip down just to reset the brain.
They need a rain out.
Yes.
We need a
rain out. Somebody go do work. Need a rain out.
Oh my God.
You were
it's a
gone.
natural disaster.
You were gone for this. But it was a list I did with Kyle while you were gone, and we did our favorite baseball movies. That was my number one. Forever and ever, it'll be my number one.
Boulder,
yeah,
great
number one.
movie.
I just discovered last night it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
I will be rewatching that movie far too much the next week.
Great movie.
I'll rewatch it like 4 times.
Great movie.
I never get tired of watching that film. Love it so much. Oh, it's so great.
We're dealing with a lot of complicated stuff. Well, let's see. Candlesticks make a good gift, and all right, let's turn 2.
Hey guys, let's turn 2.
Fantastic.
Oh my goodness, that movie is so great.
Fantastic movie.
Oh,
Fantastic movie.
his lizard eye is shut. We need a chicken to take a curse off a glove.
Yeah. And nobody knows what to get Millie and so
For the wedding.
their wedding.
We're dealing with a lot of fear.
Yeah. No.
Oh my goodness.
The best part about that whole movie is when he walks out to the mound. You told him I was going to throw a fastball, didn't you?
Yep.
Boy, he hit the bull.
But he's throwing a 2-hitter and he's shaking me off. Fastball's coming right down the pipe. When you speak of me, speak well.
Fantastic. That really is good. That's good stuff.
Such a good movie.
Yeah. I don't know what my list would be. I know Little Big League is in there.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't have that on my list. That was a
Did you
good
know
one.
that they almost made the team the Royals?
Really? I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Rustin Dodd did a piece on that movie.
I didn't know that.
For
I
like
need to
the
go back and read that Rustin piece.
20-year anniversary or something like that of the movie.
Mhm.
And it was either going to be the Twins or the Royals as the team.
Interesting. I enjoyed Little Big League.
Luke
It's a fun
Collins
movie.
could have been the first baseman of the Royals.
Little Big League's a good movie.
Great movie.
Very good movie.
Great movie.
I think it's overlooked at how fun it is.
Classic movie. Yeah, it's good stuff. You should start Webman. I had a feeling you'd say that. And he started Webman. There you go.
Yeah.
So the Royals, I'm glad we are on for the first time. We are on board with a date.
Yeah.
May 11th.
No, if they can't go through this stretch and show something good in the win column, I mean,
And it starts tonight because Evaldi's not good.
you should be able to beat, like, you beat it. Like, are they going to beat them 10-1 again? Probably not. Like, that was an aberration, but you've proven you can hit Nathan Evaldi.
Mm-hmm.
If Nathan Evaldi goes 6 innings, gives up 2 hits, no runs, like, what are you doing here?
What are we doing? We're going to go all Taylor Twellman.
Yeah.
When the United States didn't make the World Cup.
Like, but that's my thing. Like, if they can't hit Nathan Evaldi well, like the second time in less than a week, like, again, I'm not expecting them to do I don't expect 5 runs in 5 innings. Like, it was the high watermark, but you guys can hit him because you did it. And it wasn't like you guys did it off of, it wasn't like they did it off like luck or anything. Like, no, you saw him well and made good contact.
You play the Rangers for 2, the Angels for 3. I feel like you should win 1 of 2 here against Texas. So you should go 1-1. Against the Angels, the odds of you hitting Ohtani are not good.
No.
So I feel like you should at least win 1, if not 2, versus the Angels.
Yeah.
You win, let's say, 1 against the Cardinals.
The Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks. You got 4 versus Minnesota.
You can take 2 of those.
Depending upon the pitching matchup.
I think it is entirely feasible you can take 2.
Okay, so if you take 1 against Texas, 2 against the Angels, that's 3. 1 against Arizona, 2 against the Twins, that's 6. You take 2 against Baltimore,
8.
That's 8. You take 2 against the A's,
10.
And you take 2 against the White Sox.
You're 12-10 over a 22-game stretch.
And then that's legit. That is
and more importantly,
legit.
Like, that is getting to 12 without having to do too many big mental hurdles. Like, some of those were like there's still some hopes in there, but like splitting a series 2-2 against Minnesota is not impossible.
They've
done it.
Same thing against the White Sox.
Like, taking the White Sox, not all because they're horrible.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, no, like, the idea, like, can you take 2 from LA that on the non-Ohtani starts? Yeah, but even you take 1, that's fine. Taking 1 from a good Arizona team, you can do. 2 of 3 from Baltimore is not impossible because they've had their own issues. They're playing well, but they have their own issues.
Yeah, Baltimore at 9-7, not at that.
Like,
it's not like they're 12-5. Okay,
and let's say even if you only took 1 from Baltimore, you can sweep Oakland.
Well, I mean, most teams could, but probably not this Royals team.
I hope I said, depending on what the one loss to Oakland might look like, I might be in a real bad place. Oakland is
not good.
So horrible.
Speaking of the Angels, I wanted to look up and see if Mike Trout is still good. Mike Trout, in fact, still good at baseball.
The answer to that is usually a pretty constant yes.
Although he is underperforming according to his history here.
His history is pretty good.
He only had a 176 OPS plus and only had a 1.000 OPS. This year, his OPS is 0.972.
His OPS plus is 169.
And that's underperforming according to Mike Trout. So Mike
Trout just breaks baseball.
Mike Trout still really good, but not as good as prime Mike Trout.
His on-base percentage is 435.
Correct. Yes.
Shut up, Mike Trout. 13 walks to 16 strikeouts.
Yeah, Mike Trout gets on base. Doesn't have a stolen base, though. He's old.
Mike Trout's so good.
Mike Trout is now old where he doesn't steal base.
Yeah, he's 31.
Mike Trout has only got 4 stolen bases in the last 3 years combined.
Mike Trout's so good.
That's incredible.
But like, depending on how this series matches up with the Angels and who you end up getting, like, there's 2 good starters on this Angels team. It's Shohei Ohtani and it's Patrick Sandoval.
And they see one of them.
Yeah, like I think you're gonna get Tyler Anderson, Reed Detmers, and Shohei Ohtani. You can beat Reed Detmers and Tyler Anderson.
Yeah.
Tyler Anderson's my bigger proof that guys who then leave the Dodgers being bad in other places are truly bad. Tyler Anderson's my proof. Andrew Heaney, get out of here.
No, Andrew Heaney struck out
apparently is good.
9 straight Royals. Which he forever is amazing.
But Tyler Anderson has a 6.75 ERA and 3 starts. He's not good.
Royals get a win today. Book it.
I hope they do. It would improve my mood. Like,
no, they're due. I'm telling you, they're due. They're due. They're gonna
play. Show's so much better if we come on the air tomorrow and they've won.
If they win tomorrow, we have a very short show tomorrow because the Royals have a day game tomorrow.
Yeah.
If the Royals win, we'll give away Royals tickets.
We'll use our very limited time to give you all some tickets.
Yes.
Keep the good vibes rolling.
Yes. And if they lose,
well,
we might not talk any Royals.
Jake might be doing 20 minutes by himself because I might not be nowhere to be found.
I'm going to put you on a milk carton. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop. Mic drop. Fulton, what do you got?
Brad Keller over 4.5 strikeouts. His strikeout totals, as of right now, have made me a very profitable young man so far this season. I hope the rest of you also implore on that. But more importantly, I'm excited to watch a Brad Keller start, and I can't remember the last time I was able to say those words the last few years. It's a fun development, which means there are still fun and positive things around this team, even when the offense makes you want to gouge your eyes out with a salad fork. But overall, Brad Keller, just give us something watchable on one side of the baseball field tonight.
You are. The Royals are going to win. They're there. They got this. I'm going to go this. Here in the about 3 or so minutes, we're going to find out who David Castillo is going to play for.
That's true.
David
Top of the
Castillo
hour.
is a five-star point guard out of Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Interesting city.
His trio of hats, Oklahoma State, K-State, KU.
Hawks.
Now, according to all of the 24/7, Go Power Cat projections, is that he's going to choose K-State over KU.
Would be a big get for Tang.
5-star PG, David Castillo. That could be interesting. We'll find that out coming up here in just a few minutes. Coming up next, 580 Sports Talk. We'll talk tomorrow at noon with a brief edition of Mic'd Up.